Well, credit to Blizzard here, they actually did it. They saved Legion Remix. Ignoring, of course, the unplayable launch day and some severe world lag, it otherwise has been a resounding success. We've got the heroic world tier kind of revitalizing the love of the game for some people, and for others simply just nuking down mythic bosses in literal seconds is quite doing it. And don't worry, you'll learn how to do that in this video. But for basically everyone, I think the power loop is dangerously addictive. And to top it off, it's us returning to Legion content without the things like legendaries that were frustrating, and it's a reminder of how good we had things back then. Suramar is still, I think, WoW's best campaign of all time, and a lot of us were worried that this remix wouldn't be as good as the MOP one. But honestly, I think we were kind of wrong. I think this one's better. But unfortunately, it is still a bit of a crazy side mode, so it is a little bit all over the place. And that means you might find it frustrating if you don't understand how gearing and power works, because it's very different to regular WoW. So, we've got some advice for you, because we got scarily close to capping out the whole mode's item level after just a few days. So yeah, on this one, trust us. Exploit early, exploit often. It's a phrase for a reason because some people are way ahead right now. So here's why. There was a major bug in the first 2 days, where Heroic World Tier scaled your XP up massively in dungeons without actually making the dungeons any harder. Now, sadly, for some, this has been quietly hotfixed. But there is one thing that beats raw speed though, and that is efficiency. So now that we don't have bugs to help us, here's what playing Remix looks like and how to make the most of it. Because seriously, it's a pretty insane grind. But if you do it right, you can save hours upon hours upon hours. First up, add-ons. Of course, you'll want to have Plumber installed. It's really nice. You'll get this display for your weapon and some quick switching. It's really good. And then even better is Legion Remix Helper, which essentially automates loads of fiddly things and it helps you collect everything. And then handy notes with the Legion module will help you find rares and treasures. Angrier World Quests is another great option that'll help you once you're level 80. And I'd also recommend BTW Quests and its Legion plugin to help you find some of the trickier side quests can be a little bit out of the way. As for class choice then, obviously first up, just play whatever the hell you want. But here's the thing, if you want to be absolutely sure you don't have to reroll for late game nonsense, then play a melee that can tank. Ideally, one that can also tank and heal. You see, the damage scaling gets so crazy that 5 tanks is currently the Mythic Plus meta, just a little bit broken. Plus, you won't actually need to heal, but signing up as healer will get you into group finder queues pretty much instantly, which is quite handy. Ultimately then, I think Druid, Paladin, Demon Hunter, and Death Knight are the best choices for a main in this mode if you just want to clear absolutely everything. So, with that in mind, and maybe a decision made, let's get started on leveling. Obviously, the first thing you want to do is level, and in true Remix fashion, you can do this any way that you want. Now, the intro gets you into the Infinite Bazaar, and after that, you're essentially free. You can grind dungeons, do quests, or have a bit of a struggle in Heroic World Tier. Now, you can also do LFR and normal raids daily from level 20. But there's one definitive way to make this whole thing faster, and that is to complete the campaigns. You see, each campaign that you finish gives you a bonus 10% XP, so just blasting through those quests as fast as you can is essentially the best thing to do. And it's also a great idea because it will also progress you on something that is even more important. That thing is infinite knowledge. A little bit like artifact knowledge back in the day, it increases how much infinite power drops. And of course, with more power, you'll unlock your artifact weapon traits and your late game stat multiplier trait quite a good bit faster. Now, this infinite knowledge comes from one source, and that is achievements. And these are for doing, well, a lot of everything. And a major shout out here to completionism.com. They've made this absolutely wonderful tracker, and that just makes this whole thing extremely easy, and it makes it easy for us to, show you what to do. So here are the ones you can focus on while you're leveling. Completing the campaign and the side quests in a zone will give you 1 in each. Then clearing all available dungeons will grant you 3. Finishing each raid completely is 1 each. Killing 50 empowered enemies in Heroic World Tier is another. And my basic recommendation is just do the campaign quests in normal. It's not literally the fastest way to level, but I'd say it's the most efficient way to get XP whilst completing as few quests as possible and getting progress on those achievements. Now, you want to do most quests at level 80, and that's another reason why hitting 80 in a decently efficient manner like that is good. But to explain why, I've actually got to talk about gearing. But a quick note first, technically, dungeon farming is the best because it will just let you keep every quest up, so you can do all the quests at max level. But in real-time terms, it's painfully slow. I wouldn't really recommend it. And getting the bonus XP from the campaigns is, I think, the best mix of fast and efficient. And of course, you'll want to make sure you check back at the Infinite Bazaar every 10 levels, because every 10 levels, Eternus and Moritari will regularly give you quests, which will get you even more XP gain. That stuff's real important. And with that said, let's talk about gearing. Gear is very different in Legion Remix. Actual armor just has fixed percentages of stats and random secondaries, which I recommend you just completely ignore, because here's what matters the most, right? This is a broken game mode. It's meant to be, so just focus on item level and focus on main stat. Now, jewelry is a little bit more complicated. Necklaces, rings, and trinkets have got random artifact traits on them. Now, item level doesn't matter when you're wearing these things, so basically just put on the effects that your class guide tells you are the best. But do keep the highest item level ones in your bag and don't scrap them, because they will actually still matter. Now, gearing itself comes in two stages here. While you level up, you will get up to eye level 584, and you'll be getting gear from the quest reward boxes. These scale up a little bit, so every drop will just creep your item level up over time, and getting as many drops as possible is the key to getting more power. Now, the second stage of things is max level, and that is why you should actually leave side quests until you hit level 80. You see, once you hit item level 584, the actual gear from the boxes stops scaling, and then the only gear that drops at a higher level is raid gear. Now, you can get raid gear from raids, obviously, but you can also get them from these things. These are motes. Now, once you hit level 80, boxes, rares, and bosses will drop bonus motes. And when you can use 10 of these motes, you'll get an item that will be slightly better than what you're currently wearing. And that's it. That's quite literally how you gear. You just farm like crazy, get loads of motes, use them, and watch your item level creep up. And that means the absolute fastest way to gear is to just nuke quests, because when you nuke the quests, you'll get tons of boxes, those boxes will be full of motes, and your gear will be very, very shiny indeed. And that's why leaving the side quests up is fairly important. So once you hit level 80, you can just sweep quests for hundreds and hundreds of drops and absolutely blast up your item level. And I'm not kidding when I say this thing almost feels like cheating. Comparatively, dungeons and raids are extremely slow. Now, at the same time, finishing the side quest is great for the lore runner achievements. Of course, those achievements get you infinite knowledge. So basically, you are killing an entire flock of birds with just a single stone. You're getting power, you're getting gear, you're getting knowledge, all the things that you need. And so you understand how those things relate to each other. Gear gives you tons of stats, and then your infinite power will multiply those stats even higher. And by the time you have a few zones done, you will be incredibly strong. Then you can basically do everything else and still gear just a little bit slower. Now, at around item level 620, the scaling starts to get absolutely cracked. At least that's been our experience. So set that as your target, and when you reach there, you should feel pretty insane. Let's talk about infinite research, because one of the other key things here is Eternus's infinite research. Those quests give you a ton of bronze and some extra XP gain. So here's the most time-efficient thing that you can do at really any given time in Legion Remix. Check in with Eternus, pick any research, and then finish it until she stops giving you options. And that will happen once this bar is filled. Now, we're not exactly sure if this is working as intended, but it's basically a daily refresh that stacks up to a week. So there's a lot to do, but the good news is there's no real crazy rush there. Now, you can tell Eternus which research that you want to focus on, and you can re-roll that once a day, but the system does push you into doing lots of different types of content. But thankfully, it's all pretty quick and painless, and my personal tip would be pick the group finder dungeons or world content ones, because they're really the fastest. And then once you're level 80, she'll ask you to do 20 of these things, and you'll have almost 1,000,000 infinite power. Almost 1,000,000! It's a hell of a lot. And once that's done, you'll get this absolutely gorgeous looking transmog. And with you completely set up, well, now it's time to knock out achievements. So, if you're a big metagamer, then you'll truly be free once you are strong and once Eternus's bar is full. And when that's done, your next goal should be to get as much infinite knowledge as is possible. And the best thing to do is to go to Completionism's page to toggle on the knowledge options and quite simply to just progress all of them. And be especially careful, by the way, of the world quests and the world bosses, because those things will actually take a little bit of time. Now, this knowledge investment is key, because investing in knowledge will make everything go even faster. But you won't be able to finish it all at once, because there is a phased release schedule where every 2 weeks there's going to be a new area, new campaign, new dungeon, and a new raid to do for knowledge. So, in the meantime, you'll just want to clear out the current phase's set of achievements. And in fact, Legion Remix is designed so that chasing achievements will naturally give you the most rewards. And of course, by doing all of this, you'll be utterly drowning in bronze and you'll be able to lap up loads of rewards. So my genuine recommendation is to look over Completionism's list, find the rewards you want, and just focus on those achievements. And with that said, that's the major game flow out of the way. So with that said, it's now time to talk about some specific little tips and a few other things as well. Dungeons and raids then. Okay, mythic dungeons and even raids will fall effortlessly to full groups here. You won't even have to learn a single mechanic to hop into whatever content you want to do. And they're all in a daily lockout as well, and well, they're pretty rewarding for how quick they are. Do them at least once for the achievements, but after that, just do them whenever you feel like it. The only unique reason to farm them, of course, is for the rare transmogs. For example, you'll need 20 horns to trade in for the Xavius shoulders. They really are cool shoulders. You get 1 horn on normal, 4 on heroic, and 10 on mythic, so keep that in mind if you want to get those. Later then, you'll also be getting Maiden's Hammer, Teshelact, and the Argus Scythe, so pretty much some of the coolest looking mogs in the game. Next then, let's talk Mythic Plus. Okay, Mythic Plus is genuinely weird here. You'll want to do at least a +7 right away, because that's going to get you some more infinite knowledge. And really, that is just a cakewalk if you're with a group of eye level 620 plus players. Now, you'll need a Mythic +30, yes, you heard me right, +30, if you want to unlock the fiery version of the new transmog, and a +40 if you want to get the infernal title. We tried a few of these, and honestly, it just was not worth the time. The gear was weak, and the other drops felt like it was kind of nothing for the time invested. So basically, just wait until the last phase until you do those things where you'll be even more powerful, unless you just love Mythic Plus and, you know, want to hurt yourself. Okay, in Mop Remix, there were the legendary frogs that people would just farm into oblivion for the first few days to become stupidly powerful. Now, there are no frogs in Legion Remix. There's no frog farm. There is something that is sort of close. If you really just want to farm mobs completely mindlessly, then the Murlocs over here in Ashara will be the place to do that. Better yet, flick on Heroic World Tier and kill them with that turned on. They're easy to kill, they drop plenty of items, and you'll get the Legion Slayer achievement in just about no time. Just do make sure you're actually strong enough first. And speaking of Heroic World Tier, let's talk about that. If you're max level with huge gear, Heroic World Tier will really not feel that heroic at all. Once you finish nuking all the campaign and the side quests, I would just turn it on and keep it on. You'll get some more rewards. It will slow you down a bit, but honestly, I think it's well worth it. Every world quest on Heroic counts toward an achievement and drops an upgraded box, and mobs quite simply drop more of everything. That being said, if you want to play a really compelling version of World of Warcraft, try leveling up with Heroic World Tier turned on. It's absolutely not the fastest way to do it, but people are reporting having a really good time having to carefully pull mobs and, you know, fight the old-fashioned way. It's, of course, not balanced, and it is slow even in spite of the bonus XP, but it can be a whole load of fun. It's not a highlight of the mode's design, but it is maybe the most important thing Blizzard can learn here for the real World of Warcraft, that it seems people really do yearn for a more classic-like world experience, and I think the Heroic World Tier and leveling actually shows some serious promise. But okay, we've talked about a lot of things. There's one thing we haven't talked about, and that is your alts. The last thing then is alts, and this one is a little bit awkward. So your XP gain and infinite knowledge are account-wide, but alts actually start fresh power-wise. And basically, if you don't really want a raft of new alts for Midnight, I wouldn't actually bother with them. Now, it's true that there are the new class mount colors that come from leveling them up to 80, but you can just buy them for a pittance of bronze instead. I'd rather, do the bronze than level up a whole alt. So, alts are entirely optional in this mode. Don't feel like there's any pressure to actually go and do it on every different character. Getting one character fully geared is going to take long enough anyway, But with that character fully geared, you'll be able to earn so much bronze that you can pick up all of the rewards. I hope that's all helped you out. And you know what? I have not seen some of my guild members this addicted to World of Warcraft in a long ass time. I think it does kind of go to show that Blizzard can still make some digital crack when they want to. Legion Remix is kind of close to a full season of WoW in terms of content, especially for newer players who didn't play the Legion stuff when it originally came out. And I think with this leading people back to WoW ahead of midnight, we may be heading to a little bit of a golden age. I mean, especially with the insanely promising gearing changes that are coming in for midnight. Because one of the things newer players always struggled with is just, what the hell do I do? What's up with this gear? Why is a spark fractured? What does that mean? What is a runed crest? What's a carved crest? Are the runes better than carved? All these things that confuse newer players. Well, the good news is Blizzard have fixed all that, and you can learn about it in this video next.